Boom. What's up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. We get a lot of people watching, people commenting, and we appreciate that. But, smash that like button. I guess now we got to beg for likes out here. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we at. I'm a I'm a successful, decently successful comic, but struggling YouTuber. You know what I'm saying? That's what comedy has gotten me. Got me to be a struggling YouTuber with me and the crew. And we're gonna talk Aston Villa, Arsenal. We're gonna talk Southampton. We're gonna talk Man City's lucky win versus Ipswich. We're gonna talk about upcoming games coming up next week: Liverpool versus Man United. So thank you all for joining us. We got Lee Hudson, stand-up comic, Southampton fan. He's back from the Edinburgh Comedy Festival. What's up, fam? How you doing?
I'm all good. I did about 6 hours of driving today, but I'm refreshed. I got home, I had a nap. Um, I'm all good. I went and watched some Scottish football this weekend as well while I was in Edinburgh. So I got that as well. Went to Hibernian versus Dundee, which was interesting.
Yeah, I want to ask you some questions about Scottish football. I understand it's Irish football, which is the most confusing thing, because they their league is like non-existent. So at least Scottish football, we know their league. And then we got Alex Avila, Man City fan, stand-up comic. What's going on, fam? Is that a new shirt? Is that one of y'all new joints?
That is one of the new ones, I don't know who I want it from, but I want it from someone. Yeah.
That's a pretty respectable new jersey from City. Like City are getting better at jerseys. Maybe the better they get
I
at
like
jersey.
your what do you how do you say that? That's the worst ugly. What that's the worst best looking jersey you have or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what you say.
But
Worst best
but
looking jersey.
yeah, but that one's not even on the
This is not in
worst
the
list.
worst category. This
Nah,
is
nah, it's
all
it's
right.
it's pretty cool. I like that.
Thank you,
See, I
thank you.
didn't
No,
even
not
get I didn't even get a New Southampton one this year. I got the Japan one on instead, the Y3.
The Y3. Why didn't you get a Southampton one this year?
I don't really like the sponsor on it. The design, like the home shirt design, is quite clean, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I saw him like in the club store in person. I was like, I can pass.
Right. Yeah, that's what happens. I should have got the white one from last year from United, and
Yeah,
they don't really have it anymore. I really love that one, but yeah.
is that the latest one you've got there?
Oh,
The new retro.
well, this old thing? No, I've been had this, fam. I've had this for like 3 years now, but no, it's the third kit. It's the third kit, and yeah, it's
So fresh, you got the tags on it.
oh, hold on a second. My bad. I didn't mean for that to be there like that. My fault. My fault. And no stunt on y'all.
Has it
But
got the retro Adidas logo as well?
yeah.
yeah, right here. This?
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. There's some decent jerseys in the league. Like I was watching
Mm.
Newcastle's jersey, the one that they played
Yeah.
at the weekend. I was like, oh, that's a clean jersey.
Mm.
Like that's some iPhone jersey style made. You know what I mean? Like the lines and
Yeah.
just a few things here and there, all perfectly placed. Nice jersey.
Mm.
Yeah.
I kind of like their away one more. It's like blue and it's like the bars up at a like horizontal.
Yeah, it's like a throwback to they had one in those colors in the 90s.
Oh yeah. I also like the jersey that Wolves got thrashed in. I was like, that's a good jersey. I mean, too bad, that happened to them in it, but that's a good ass jersey.
They've gone for the central badge, like an international shirt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked it. But let's get into like the marquee game of the weekend and delay talking about our losses and Alex's win. We'll get to that. So the marquee match, like I made some notes. Let me find them. Was Villa versus Arsenal. And let me see. Everything is not in the complete order that it should be. Oh, here we go. Uh, so just my thoughts on the Arsenal versus Wolves game. Nah, that's from last week. Jesus, I'm I need to scroll down. This is one of the few games, right, where I didn't see Arsenal start the way they normally like to start. Like Arsenal likes to like jump right down a team's throat and just dominate them from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. But I feel like, they kind of had to respect Unai Emery and Villa, especially at home, you know. And one of the bad things that happened to Villa early on in the game is that they lost Matty Cash. And he started the game pretty impressive. I saw them try to like press him and him get out of a really tight space and progress the ball forward. And then Bailey went down. And so it looked like 20 minutes into the game, they were going to lose Bailey and Cash, but Bailey got back up and got back into the game. I really don't know what's up with Ollie Watkins, but he missed 2 sitters, and that's like 2 weeks in a row. And I think Villa started playing strong throughout the match and was giving Arsenal a taste of their own medicine as far as like pressing them. And they had a progressive Arsenal, like making a lot of backwards passes. And I was talking to Lloyd about Ollie Watkins, and he says, "Don't worry about it. Ollie Watkins misses a lot of chances earlier on in the season, and then he warms up." So I was like, "All right, I'll take his word for it." And Lloyd was at the game, and from what Lloyd told me, and from what like I saw another Villa fan like who has his own channel after the game, and he talked about the game outside of the stadium. Like they feel great about how they played. This was a great loss for them. Like they feel like they stood up to Arsenal, and but it's like you won this game last year. So why is Villa taking like refuge in the fact that they showed up against Arsenal when you beat Arsenal back-to-back games last year? Again, I hope Watkins does warm up, not against us, but for the first 2 games of the season, he definitely is playing like he's been training with Marcus Rashford, because it's like there's 2 point-blank goals, like especially the one last week. It looked like he didn't even know it was a real game. It was like a soft pass, backwards pass to the goalkeeper. Like he almost got a yellow card for making that backward pass to the goalkeeper instead of taking a shot. And then I just like to give a shout out to Morgan Rogers. Man, he went on multiple runs in that game, and he took on multiple gunners and went through their entire defense. Like that kid is going to be something. He's super extravagant, and did it again and again. He even made a veteran like Rice get a yellow for trying to stop him. And if I was United, I'd just give Villa whatever they want for that kid now, because he's definitely gonna be something.
You know where the kid came from?
From West Bromwich Albion, or from you guys?
City. He came from City, but he got a couple injuries at City, playing for the elite developments, EDS. They call it EDS. Basically. So he never. I don't think he ever got a chance, like a proper chance at City. But yeah, he's like the same generation as Palmer and those guys.
Yeah, because he was at West Brom for like 9 years or something, and then he did like 4 years at City, I think, but without making a first team appearance, and then got loaned out a bunch.
Yeah, and I think he was with Carrick last year in the championship.
Middlesbrough,
Middlesbrough, yeah. So, but just keep an eye on this dude. I've been talking about him to Lloyd since like last year, and every podcast last season, we were talking about all these new young players coming through that look super impressive. Like this is another one of them, you know. This game got really cagey, and they trapped each other a lot. But there was some high IQ escapes from both teams. Like there were so many checkmates that got uncheckmated, and then Villa almost scores. Raya had to pull off that double save.
Yeah.
Blank. You know, he made 2 Ramsdale sit your ass on the bench saves. Like you should look into getting a transfer now. This competition is over. It never was a competition because Arteta wanted to give me the job anyway, but now it's my job. I feel super comfortable, and I don't even feel like you're a threat anymore. So, bro, like, don't be here. This is like, remember that movie with Ben Affleck and that Matt Damon, and Matt Damon was smart, and Ben Affleck was a construction worker, and he said, "My biggest dream is that one day I come to pick you up to take you to work, and you're not outside waiting
Goodwill
for
Hunting.
Goodwill Hunting." Like, that should be Ramsdale. Like, we should pan to the bench for the next Arsenal game, and he should be gone. Like, go start somewhere, fam. Like, you're dope.
We asked about him, but the price was too high, even for a loan. Like, he's on such big wages, they're going to find it hard to move him anywhere. So like we're signing Feyenoord's keeper instead now.
Oh shit.
Because Ramsdale on loan was just too pricey. Like they wanted a big loan fee and his wages covered, and he's on like 200-something thousand pounds a week, £235,000 a week, I think, which would like be more than any of our players earn.
But you need him.
We do, but
he's the type of player that could keep you in the league, because you guys are still. What's that defender that we always make? Is it Bednarek?
Yeah.
How comfortable do you feel with Bednarek? So to make up for Bednarek, you need.
He's played okay so far.
All right.
We need a keeper who can play with their feet, and Ramsdale is okay at that, but Arteta wanted Raya because he's better at that. And the guy we're getting from Feyenoord, Justin Bilo, he's got 8 caps for the Netherlands national team. He's really good with his feet, and we're getting him permanently, or it's a loan to go permanent, but for cheaper than we would have to have Ramsdale for 1 year. So it just makes
as good as Ramsdale.
I think so. 8 caps for the Netherlands, championship winner in the Eredivisie, and like really, really good with his feet. Better than Ramsdale with his feet for sure.
All right.
So who knows where Ramsdale's going to go? He's running out of options.
Yeah, he needs to definitely get out, because I think he's a really good goalkeeper. The funny thing about Villa is that their midfield is full of Belgians. So you got Tillemans and Onana. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm just looking at the commonalities like in their team. Also, you have Martinez, their goalkeeper, who used to be a keeper for Arsenal and won them the FA Cup, and he's trying to beat them just as bad as Emi Martinez, who used to be their coach. But you know, he got caught out today, you know, yesterday or this weekend a little bit, and then both teams were like trying to figure out how to beat each other. It was kind of like a good stalemate. It was a good match, but then both teams made substitutions. And Trossard, who just walked on the pitch for Martinelli and hadn't even pulled his socks up yet, scores a goal. And that's when Arsenal started to just pull away a little bit. And then they get another goal from Partey, who didn't really even have a good game. Like Rodgers, I said, was handling him. Like that Villa midfield is pretty big. Like I've never seen like Partey play and look like a Funko doll compared to the other players on the pitch, and get dragged around and pushed around and pushed out the way. And after that second goal, Villa's resistance was broken. Game was over. Well done to Arsenal. Even though they didn't get a chance to play the way that they normally play, they won a game that they lost last year. So Lloyd was saying, why were they celebrating like they just won the title? which I know Villa fans would have did if they had won. But they won a game and got 3 points that they lost the year before, and they
Yeah.
needed that 3 points because they lost the league by 2 points. So yeah, you celebrate like you win the league because it's a telling 3 points. Do you guys have any thoughts on that match?
Yeah, definitely a really good 3 points for Arsenal. Yeah, Villa, I mean, they kind of like they were in the game, like you say, it was cagey, but Arsenal sort of dominated the ball. It was kind of like Villa were just looking for those counters because obviously Rodgers and Watkins are both very mobile.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just interesting seeing like the two tactical game plans working out, and like you said, it was sort of cancelling each other out a little bit for a little while, and then there was those chances. But yeah, I mean, Villa as well, they're like, I think you have to adapt when you sort of have new players in like a key position. So like having Onana in that midfield is a different type of player um, to what they've had before. And it was kind of almost like a lopsided formation for them because McGinn was sort of tucking in on the left with Tillmans and Onana as well. So then you had like Digne on his own down one side, whereas on the other side they had Bailey and Cash like doubling up with like Rodgers or Watkins running that side as well. So yeah, it's interesting the way Emery kind of set that up for them. But yeah, I mean, the rest of the team's pretty consistent. The same with Arsenal as well. Like Timber is like a new signing for them because he like played one or two games last season, so he's looking pretty solid. Yeah, I mean Calafiori, it looks like they're phasing him in. Like he came off the bench in this game. I think Martinelli has probably played himself out the team now, just because he was wasteful, whereas Trossard came on and immediately makes
First
a
touch.
contribution. Yeah. And that was a cool, calm finish as well. Like to be that composed on your first touch, he's coming on and saying to Arteta, like, you need to be starting me. Because Martinelli's, he's a good player, but he's, he was quite wasteful in this game, didn't really contribute. So yeah, it's definitely food for thought for Arteta in that one position. But I still think that Arsenal front line is a little bit like they still need one more player in that rotation because like Havertz is a 9, he's functional there, like he can do a good job, but he's not like an out and out number 9. Jesus is more of a link player, he's not like the goal scorer. So you're kind of relying on the wide
he's
players
injured
to
now. He's injured already.
Yeah.
He got injured watching match.
But yeah, I mean, they're obviously it's good for them that Saka's like he got both assists, and he's contributing already.
Yeah.
So not looking too jaded after the Euros, which is good for them. And could have even been a bigger score if Odegaard could keep his composure as well, because that was a big chance for him too. But yeah, like you say, that double save from Raya was pretty big as well, because that could have changed.
Was it really that good, or was it just a very exciting thing? Like the second save, was it savable, but he still had to do something, or was it really that good?
I mean, the ball was close to him because Watkins hasn't put it right in the corner, but it was more the speed of the reflexes to get back up and make the save. Because I think there's a lot of other keepers who would have been too slow to get up and down quick enough to make that.
Right. And what were you gonna say, Alex, about it?
That was the same thing. Like I think, like to me, like I give him props for for getting up so quick, but the ball was running. It's basically, he wasn't like he had to go jump to the other side. He was just, but yeah, getting up. I think like that's how you can tell how quick he is.
Right. Yeah. He's got good fundamentals. Yeah.
Yeah, just to add a little bit more. But I am a little bit of jealous, I guess, of Arsenal, Liverpool, and I mean I don't really count Chelsea as a rival at the moment. But I like their options. I like their options. Well, even United, I like that there's like an emergency situation kind of players where, for example, Arteta is like, okay, there's like 30 minutes left to the game. Let's throw Trossard, let's throw Jesus, and the same for United. You guys can throw I forgot. I mean, he's injured right now, but your striker or Sixer.
We can't throw him. He's injured.
Well, I know. He's injured right now, but he'll eventually come in, and I think like that's probably the only thing that I feel like I would like to have at City, like some random, some striker for like when the game's there's no other options to throw in and see what happens. You know, like a minute 80, like that was basically Julian Alvarez like last season when like things games tight, put Julian in you know put another striker on.
But you got goals from everywhere. You know what I mean? Like you got you. So you got. Let's go to the City game.
I think we do, but it's just more like when Pep looks at the bench, he's like, I have Grealish, I have Gundo, I have Bernardo, which they're great players, but you don't really think about like you don't see goals with them, right? They give you goals, but you don't think about goals when you see their names.
Wasn't there one time there was a season where Sergio Aguero was injured and Pep had Gabriel Jesus, who doesn't give you that much, and you still guys, it was Sergio's last season, and didn't you guys still survive and win that season and get goals from everywhere?
Mm-hmm.
So are you just like panicking just because you're a City fan?
Yeah, I guess, but it's more like just like the idea of having like a backup striker, you know. Like we don't have a backup striker. Like that's the only thing.
You don't, but you got Doku, right? You got Bernardo Silva.
No, I trust
De Bruyne be scoring goals.
Pep that
You got
figure out.
Savinho. You got Grealish. You got Oscar Bobb. When he comes back, bro, I don't know how long it's gonna take, but he's taking over that whole right side. Like he's you. I just named five players, and I didn't say Haaland's name.
I think it sucks for Bob, but
Rodri hasn't played yet. He scores on the low sometimes.
I think that when Bob comes back, I think he won't get minutes. I just think like Savinho is looking good.
I don't think Savinho is better than him. I don't.
I think like it's a pretty fair contest. I think like Savinho is looking amazing so far. And at Girona, he looks super fluid, super good. I will bet on him maybe perhaps making it, you know, the finalist of the player of the year for the young players of the year. He's 20.
Did you see Riyad Mahrez's tweet?
No, what'd he say?
Riyad Mahrez is just like, because it was like it's like watching Mahrez again. He's the same player. So like there was a video of Savinho and then Riyad Mahrez just retweeted it with like a sort of double take thing.
And they got the same number. He got the number because of Mahrez.
Yeah. Oh, word. I still think.
Yeah, he put like wait a minute and like a little like looking emoji.
Hilarious. I still think Oscar Bobb, like I've watched him play for, is he from Norway?
Mm-hmm.
And he just slices through like an overloaded defense on his side for Norway. He does it anywhere. And then in the preseason, he did it. I'm just telling you, like
it's just a problem. Like he got injured. He's coming back in December. In December, you know, there's just games after game. It's like a tough time to break in on a team. You know, like when perhaps maybe like beginning of next year after like if there's a little break or something. But it's like during December, maybe he helps a lot. Maybe he can get minutes because there's so many games. But I just feel like it's tough to throw him in when there's so many games back to back.
You know what will calm you down? Like remember all those players I just mentioned, right? I didn't even mention Foden, the EPL Player of the Year, voted by the players. I didn't even mention Foden. So that's 20 plus goals, probably 10 assists. Like, what are you worried about? Like, is this what rich people do? Like they just so rich, they're worried about not being rich enough, and then they just keep hoarding shit, and then poor people don't have nothing. Like you're out of your mind, fam, to be even like, where are we going to get goals? Is it something that happened to Haaland? You
watch tomorrow City buying Ivan Tony or something. Yeah.
If who?
I don't know, Tony or I don't know.
Who buys him?
No, I don't think it's gonna happen. You know, but no one has picked him up. So perhaps somebody called City tomorrow. It's like, hey, you guys want him? Mm-hmm.
Shit. I mean,
going to the game. You said City got lucky.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking shit, you know.
Okay.
And I did want to compliment. They played in blue, so they played in the blue version of the jersey that you got on now. So that jersey still looks good in blue. So I want to give City props for that, for having two good shirts in one season. So the way this game, it's funny. I watched Ipswich last week, and last week, Highline pressing Liverpool. They were home. This game, complete opposite strategy. They're like, we're on the road, and we're playing the champs. Last week we got beat by the non-champs, so we're gonna sit back. We're gonna have 5 at the back, 4 in the middle, and 1 up front, and we're just gonna like take our chances. And they got 1 chance, and they took it. They had 1 shot on goal and 1 goal, and it trickled by by Edison and went in the net. And I was worried that it was even gonna make it into the net. I don't know why the player was celebrating before it even got there. It's like, hey man, you should follow that up. You don't want to take a risk on that. Then, speaking of Savinho, even though I don't think he's better than Oscar Bobb, he's very effective. He won a penalty. That was not a penalty. Not even close. I don't know why first of all, it was a black ref who was supposed to be the 4th official, right? And something happened to the 4th official, so they switched. So he started the game as the on the field ref, and he made the right call. But then VAR is like, makes this, hey, go look at this, which puts a lot of pressure on like a black ref who hasn't like been reffing a lot of games. So it just made him second guess himself. Like, I watched him watch that replay like 10 times. As a matter of fact, the game in the first half ended with 5 minutes of extra time, and all that extra time was the amount of times that the ref watched that replay over. And he didn't see anything, but because VAR kind of called him out and put him on blast, he had to give it. And then after that, then Savinho presses again, wins the ball, cute ass tap to De Bruyne. De Bruyne, like, 9 irons it into the back of the net. That is not an easy goal that De Bruyne scored. And then the onslaught, it was just on, like, and then that goal by Haaland. First of all, the run by Doku to make that defender go out and follow him, and Haaland just streaking across like the middle of the pitch, and the pass, and then the goalkeeper coming out there, and then Haaland just heading the ball around him and putting him in no man's land. And then the calmness of that finish. It ain't like the Cole Palmer goal, but it's like a level of skill that, you got to give it up to Haaland. And he's on a double before the end of the half. And I also think that Ipswich deserved a penalty, which nobody even looked at, which was right after the Savinho play.
Nah.
There was more contact. You don't believe there was more contact on that?
He was already on. He was on the way down when the contact was made. He was already like heading to the floor.
Did you feel the Savinho PK was a PK?
Yeah. I thought the I thought the Savinho one was just it was a dumb move from their guy.
Yeah.
Savinho's gone down easy, but it's the contact that's made him go down. Like, as a defender, you just don't do that because he's running out of pitch. Mm-hmm. The byline is there. Like, you can just let him run out of pitch. You don't need to do that. Whereas the one for Ipswich, like, he's seen there's players around and he started to dive, and then he caught a bit of contact already on the way down.
Way more contact than up at the other end of the pitch.
Yeah, but he was already like at this point when the contact was made.
I think you need to watch the American broadcast of that play because that shit hit different here.
I thought the City one was soft, but it is a penalty. The defender's stupid, and the other one, the Ipswich one, it's not a penalty because he's already going down, and he's trying to, yeah.
I read it different, but it's all good. I
Let us
feel
know.
like
Let us know in the comments.
yeah, let us know in the comments how you feel. Like if that was a penalty, or is Christmas come early for a team that doesn't need it Christmas at all because they own it? That's
I was about to
crazy.
say I hate to see City get any additional help because
Yeah.
if anything they should be given obstacles. But as a partial observer, those are my thoughts.
Right. Uh, I feel like Muric, the 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 Ipswich goalkeeper, probably had a sleepless weekend based on all the mistakes that he made.
He
He's a
thought he
good
was still
City
playing for
player.
City.
Yeah,
Oh shit, he's from the academy.
correct.
Damn. So he just gave y'all. He just gave y'all the game.
I think he did.
Somebody check his bank account.
You know what? Before the game, actually, I was telling a friend, I was like, watch the lab having the game of his life, and Muri having the best game ever, and it was the opposite. Like I think like they both picked their worst games against City. So
Yeah, I mean, I guess they still think they owe City something. And how do you feel as a City fan? And then of course, Haaland got the hat trick. We got to give him props for that. And he scored that goal right after Muric saved a really good goal chance from him. But then, what do you think of that near post finish? Should the keeper have had that?
the which one?
Specific, Haaland's third goal, the hat trick.
I think like he was just surprised. I think like I was surprised like he took a shot. I think like it's just very typical from not very typical from City in general to take shots from far away. And from Haaland, I think like he was probably the way the goalie did not react accordingly, you know.
And we got joining us Martin. Are you back from South America?
Yeah, just got back 2 days ago. Yeah.
2 days ago. What's up? All right, cool. We can
Hey.
do some hanging. But Martin, stand-up comic and actor, and Spurs fan. But I know the only reason why he joined is because Spurs won 4-0 at Everton. So we'll get to that, Martin. We'll get to that.
He flew back just for that. He was meant to still be in South America, but
He's
Spurs won
back
again,
after.
so he's back.
He's back. And the good lighting this time, and I can see some of the photos in the back, great colors. This is great framing for you. Did you bring the photos down a little bit to?
No, but I added to it. You see?
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, you're about to get robbed, fam. It's gonna be
I
about
just
to be
have
an
a
art
I
theft.
have a question for you guys, just because I wanna hear the debate. I don't know why people City fans have said that Gundogan coming back, it's not a good signing.
What sign? And there's nothing to be. That's what I'm gonna ask you. I feel like it reminds me of when Paul Scholes quit United, and then comes back, and it's like now I'm worried about City beating Arsenal for the title. You know what I'm saying? Like
You won when he came back, Scholes. You won the title, the last title.
yeah,
You won.
yeah, exactly. So to me, this reminds me of that. It's like Gundogan, right? A lot of people think Gundogan plays a lot for City, but my memory of Gundogan, and you can correct me, is that he'll play a little bit early on in the season, but it's towards the end of most seasons they put him in, and then he scores these big goals in these big games, and then people think that he played all season. And City probably needed that against Real Madrid in the Champions League semis. Was that the semis last season? Like you needed a Gundogan, so a leader, an experienced person. Even though City's full of experience, I just feel like this is a win-win on all levels.
Gundo was the captain during the treble, right? And he played like all the finals, like all the main games. Even like people remember him from the comeback against Aston Villa.
Yeah,
I think that basically, but I think like he's with City though. Like I think like Pep just like you're right. Like he didn't play a lot at the beginning, but I think like it's more like a Pep thing. Like basically, like if you have like a good run, Pep will play you for like 6-7 games in a row. And if you're having like a good run at the end of the year, you're probably gonna play all the games of the year but that's just kind of like with Grealish. Like Grealish has not played like I don't even know last time Grealish played a Premier League, but during the treble, Grealish had like he played every single important game because he was in good form. So Yeah, you're kind of right though. So I do feel like I'm happy he came back. I think he knows the system. He knows how to play better than. I'm surprised because I thought Nunez was a good signing, but so far hasn't shown much.
Yeah, it's like Rodri is tired, right? That's why Pep ain't playing him yet. Now, even when Rodri ain't tired no more, and you know Rodri's going to get played a lot. Like Gundogan could go in, you know, and De Bruyne is going to get injured for sure because every year he plays less and less. So this is just you need that player that doesn't demand a lot of time but knows the system and is smart and is experienced. Like
Exactly.
this solves a lot of problems because Nunez ain't happening right now, and the guy from Leeds, you loaned him out to somebody, so that he ain't working out, you know. So Phillips, so this is perfect. This is the best thing that could have happened for City. Is that Barcelona is idiots?
They still got like Kovacic in there and Rico
Yeah.
Lewis being played as midfield as well. So they're deep in there now.
Yeah, yeah, and Kovacic started the season pretty good too. Yeah, he was good in this game, and then he got injured, and then he got out of that. So you know, good for boring 4-1 win versus Ipswich. I'll switch it to that. Do you have anything to say about your team's game?
Yeah, I wanna talk about the City because you know they're the golden.
But let Alex go first, and then you can jump
No,
in.
I mentioned
Okay.
everything I needed to say. I think like I'm gonna be honest, man. This is gonna sound pretty cocky for me, but when they score, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be a good game. You know, woke up at 7. At least I get to see something. I went to get some breakfast, came back, and we were already winning 3-1. I was like, what just happened? You know, it just
Hold up. So he scored, and you're like, this is going to be an exciting game, and you
well,
leave to go get breakfast, and you
no, no,
come
no.
here.
I
Like,
basically
why? How do you?
I'm watching in my living room. Watching in my living room.
Mhm,
Like I'm like
mhm.
it's basically oh they score okay oh this is gonna get good. All right, let me start making some breakfast, making a protein shake, start making eggs. Come back. I'm listening to the game, but I'm just like oh we score cool. Hold on, I don't wanna burn the kitchen. I'm still doing stuff. We score another one. I'm like oh god damn it, I gotta put everything away. And then we just started. I'm like okay, it's a wrapped up. You know, it's over.
Yeah, you guys shut this down fast. The one thing I would say
Like
for
sometimes I do
Ipswich,
miss. Sometimes I miss. I would love City to be like a complete like a like a like a mess of a team like United and just see what happens. You know, like a boxing fight. You don't know what's happening. You're like, ooh,
it does get boring when you win that easy all the time. It does, but enjoy it because you will miss that shit once Pep is gone or once them charges hit. You know what I mean? And you're in the, and you're in the championship and nobody wants to stay and play for you. You know, you're gonna miss it. So enjoy that shit. And then one thing I'll say for Ipswich is uh the good thing for Ipswich is that they won't have to play Liverpool or Man City for a while. So you know, you're good. Next year you'll have to deal with them. Same season next year, but I'm sure they shouldn't meet before December again. Martin, what do you want to say?
Yeah, I think you know that the City are such a golden standard that it's almost like everybody's dancing around trying to strengthen the team, and still it's City that year after year they make you know just a few buys, but they're like spot on, and they just reinforce the team and make the right changes. They know when to get rid of people at the right time. You know, they got rid of Sterling after he had a great service for them, and then they got rid of him at the right time. You know, like the players are leaving at the right time. Bernardo Silva, great service. Then they send him to Real Sociedad. So they know they manage the team very, very, very well. Where all the other teams, except maybe Arsenal that is catching up, all the other teams are it's hit or miss. They're buy a lot, sell a lot, buy a lot, sell a lot. Chelsea, Man U, you know, and some other, even Liverpool, and it's just they're always gonna play second or third fiddle because Manchester City is just so smart with how they run the football club, and um, and it's almost like with Arsenal, which probably they are probably the only team that can contend and try to challenge the City, but it feels to me like when I was watching NBA as a kid, when I got into the NBA basketball, that there were Chicago Bulls, and
Mm-hmm.
then you had the Utah Jazz. and they were playing the Bulls. If they were playing somebody else in a different era, they would probably have won the title. But it looks like Arsenal are playing the wrong era with Arteta, because they're really good. But
Yeah,
I don't think they can. I don't think they can beat City. I think the City will still win the title.
Yeah, they're all the great teams that Jordan prevented from winning.
Yep.
But I feel like I don't know. Like last week, I felt more sure about Arsenal doing it than I do this week. So I'll give you that.
But they're definitely the biggest contender, I think. I mean, Liverpool will win some games, but I think it's Arsenal who is the only contender, really.
All right. Let me just get this Man United review over with versus Brighton. And listen, a lot of people are saying a lot of things, you know? They're saying, why are we playing 2 false nines? Then they switch it and they say, why did we? Well, let's stick with the 2 false nines. I mean, I like how we set up. It worked last week, and we're still like breaking new players in. So you don't want to just throw them into the fray. Ten Hag is not the only coach that's like introducing people slowly. I think we were just talking about a game where, you know, another team was introducing, like maybe I was listening to something on Sports Talk or something where other teams are introducing players slowly. But when we were playing this game against Brighton, there was a point in the game, like in the middle of the game, where it's like, we got this team. We're actually, everything that I was afraid of, there was no need to be afraid of it. Like, I was like, Brighton is normally the type of team where they have some smart ass coach that is very tactically astute, and they're so organized and tough to get around. And then they get on top of United. We've had trouble with them. And not only do they have, it feels sometimes better players, but they're set up better than us. And then like halfway through this game, I was like, they aren't. And all we have to do is like realize that and just take this shit away from them. And we never realized it, and we never took this game away from Brighton. Like, this was an easy 3 points. And I'm talking about a game we lost. And we lost it because of a lack of mentality. Like, Man United has the exact opposite mentality as we had under Fergie. And my question is, like, how do we change that? I mean, the system that we're playing works, and we pretty much kept Fulham quiet. Look how loud Fulham was this weekend against the team that they played. All the players that did shit this week couldn't do shit to us last week. And I feel like we had this Brighton Hove team. And I also, I'm not even like tripping on the substitutions that we made. It's just, how does a team change their mentality to the right mentality? Does it take wins? Does it take a good cursing out? Like, for people to like be like, all right, we're gonna do this. Does it mean more players have to leave? Which now Scott McTominay has apparently gone to Napoli. You know, does it mean that? Do we need Ugarte? Or fuck Ugarte? And I said this week one, bring Amrabat back. And a lot of United players think Amrabat is some squad player. It was Amrabat's birthday last week, right? And he posted some plays from last season. And he posted a play where we played Newcastle at the end of the season. And it was a 2-on-1, 2 Newcastle players versus Amrabat. And they're backing him towards our goal. And he stops that breakaway solo by himself. And that's the person we're missing. Like, I've never seen Ogatu play in the Premier League, but I've seen Amrabat play in the Premier League, and he's mad cheap, and he wants to come back to us. And PSG is fucking around with this price. We might be able to get him now because we just sold McTominay and we got some money. But I feel like Amrabat, can we get them both? Or play Collier? We had Collier on the bench yesterday. I might be saying his name wrong, and it's a simple name to pronounce. But
I think that's right.
Yeah, they should have put him in yesterday, just so that we need that energy. Once we took Mason Mount out, and a lot of people are liking what Mason Mount is doing, and some people are saying he's not doing enough on the ball, but I love what he's doing off the ball. And I think that's how you start a good career. And it's not the type of position he played for Chelsea, but like when him and Bruno are on the pitch, they really like disrupt the other teams like type of play. Xerxes, when he came in at halftime, he didn't offer us anything pressing, so we kind of like softened as far as our pressing was. And then also he got in the way of that goal that would have gave us the lead. I ain't gonna yell at him for that. That was just unfortunate. I like to give Ahmad a shout out for scoring after playing on the same weekend that your stepmother died, and then still score a goal and still do the things he did. So you got to give him props for that. That was a heartfelt goal. But we made that big mistake at the end where everybody's just like did not shut down that guy with the ball who crossed the ball to Jao. Is it Jao Gomez? What's his name? Jao Pedro, who was the only player for Brighton who was lively all game. He was the only player that tried to do something all game from the beginning of the whistle, and eventually he did something at the last whistle. And I don't know where we can get testosterone shots that'll change our DNA and make us more like I feel maybe more wins will definitely help, but we are missing some type of Fergie oomph. You know what I mean? I don't think, and I just don't know how to get it.
I'll say.
So what?
I'll say a few things that are my observations because I've watched the highlights of this game and I was surprised how many chances you guys created versus how many chances Brighton created in this game. And both goals for Brighton are just horrific defending. I mean, it's a horrific defending. The second goal is just almost like shocking. That the guy was absolutely open in the last minute of the game, was absolutely open, and two defenders are next to each other.
Professional.
Yeah, so and you know, but last year was the same. So I'm wondering if Ten Hag is doing enough work defensively. No, I really am, because it's like defensively you were not good last season, and this season is the same. You know, the players keep changing.
Martin,
new defenders every couple months.
Why were we defensively bad last season?
Injuries is part of it, but also, you know, like, but I would have said, I would have agreed with you, but now after this game, I'm like starting to see if there's enough work done on the training with communication, with how you cover, what kind of marking we do, you know, because those two goals were shocking, absolutely shocking. Like, the players didn't know where they needed to be, and wrong guy was covering the wrong offensive player of Brighton. Like, Welbeck pretty much went ahead of a guy. Then Pedro is all by himself in a setup situation where this is the last 2 minutes of the game, and he's wide open. It's like a training goal. Like you score those goals on the training, not in an important game. And it's a high turnaround in defensive formation. You know, players are being sold, players are being bought. So I'm not sure if that's the case. And also another observation, you know, I'm getting worried with Rashford that he's becoming like the new Dele Alli a little bit. You know, I'm a little bit worried with him because Ahmad is good. Some other players look really good, but I'm really worried with Rashford. He doesn't look like the same guy that he was 2 years ago.
He's not. He doesn't play 100% like he wants to be there. He's not helping on 50-50s. He pulls out of him, and his heart is not like into football or United. It's the same way Sancho plays. Like, Sancho don't want to be there. You know what I mean? But it's more understandable for Sancho to feel that way than it is for Rashford. It's crazy that Rashford is not giving it his all. And you could, it's evident It's clear. You can see it. It's been happening since last season. So that's just, it's, I can't even Kunde was like, there must be something going on with him in his private life. That's kind of, like, and I know players are more sensitive today. Like maybe back in the day, people would just ignore their problems and do their job. But now it's not that type of world. You know what I mean? People will play with one leg. Like, I feel like there's something emotional going on with Rashford, and I don't know what it is, but it's definitely preventing him from being the Rashford that we want to see. So I give you that.
I think it's almost at the point now where like you're having to choose on the right side between Ahmad and Garnacho that are both doing things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Garnacho scored that great goal in the Community Shield. He's looked dangerous in the games when he's come on. He got the assist against Fulham. He got a disallowed goal in this game. It's like, do you try and play one of them on the left now as well?
Here's my problem with that. Garnacho, also when he came on, he didn't press well, and he doesn't run. At least Rashford will run back because he has to, because everybody's called him out on that. So my worry with Garnacho, which was like a Ten Hag and Bruno Fernandes thing that they said about Garnacho when he was coming into the team, like last season and the season before, he doesn't do some of the things he should do. So you ain't gonna get the defense from Garnacho, which is crazy to say, like that you are getting barely from Rashford. What were you gonna say, Alex?
My comment is, I think like when I watch United, for some reason, like even it doesn't matter who your midfielder is or who's the setup. It just feels like the teams just go through United. It just feels like against Brighton. Yes, there was so many there wasn't like a lot of chances from Brighton being created, but you can tell like it was just 3 passes and Brighton was already a United's, like in their last third of the field, and it was just those little combinations that Brighton couldn't create. But a big team, like a better team, will definitely make more damage. And I don't know what it is. I just don't know what. Maybe like players, maybe there's like some gaps in the midfield or not, or a lot of space like to cover for players. But I just feel like Brighton was just doing 3 quick passes, and all of a sudden they're already going 1-on-1 against Dalot or the new guy from Bayern Munich. I feel like he's really good. That guy did really good. I like. I think he had a great game. Your new signing, the right back.
I was about to say.
Oh, Mazurari. He had an assist too. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I feel like he just takes like 3 or 4 quick passes against United, and all of a sudden, like the team's already in United's half creating danger.
I feel like you were watching last year's United.
No, this game I just feel like he was like back and forth. Like there was just going back and forth.
But there's a lot of. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of back and forth between most games in the Premier League, even Chelsea versus Wolves. We're going to get to, right? So much back and forth. But when United goes back and forth and trades with a team, people are like, they're easy to play through. Like last year, I agree. No question. The stats tell you that we gave up so many chances to our opponents the whole season. I don't necessarily agree with this season. Like the teams in the Premier League, they're all going to create chances. But when you create them against United, it's like, how could United let a team that has players with 2 legs that came through academies that were bought for a lot of money, like even have a chance against United? So I don't think, I think our subs kind of threw us off. But again, these first few games are like preseason games still for us, unfortunately.
I mean, stats-wise though, like Brighton they had 14 shots to your 11, 5 on target to your 4, and they had better XG as well because they had like the one that Dalot cleared off the line from Milner.
What was the
XG?
Which what was ours? I was going to check that. I forgot.
1.96 to 1.42 on the one I'm looking at.
Right.
But like I say, that big chance that got cleared off the line was probably accountable for that as well. But they have more shots on and off target than United did, which you kind of expect at home. Brighton will come at you at home.
Mm-hmm. Plus, they spent 140 mil in the offseason, Brighton. This ain't like
they've just signed a new player. They just signed Matt O'Reilly, who I wanted at Southampton as well. They got him today.
Yeah. So now what they up to 200 and So they're not trying to be selling Brighton. They're trying to be like get in the top 5, 6 Brighton, you know. So, but still, we're Man United.
And just my last comment about the subs. I think like there was just like, because you were talking about like the mentality, the testosterone injection. The new coach from Brighton, he basically threw in and he saw like in the last minutes of the game, he's like, okay, I'm gonna throw an attacker. He threw the guy Jorginho, like he threw attackers, like at the end of the game. Where he could have been just like, you know what, I'm happy with like a draw against United, but it kind of seemed like he was trying to win the game, and like in United, you guys took up. I mean, I know Bruno was tired, but I think like just the image of putting a defender and Matonomy, like the light and Matonomy at the end of the game.
But Maguire wasn't having a great game, right? And you got to break Matthias de Ligt in. We're playing Liverpool next week. So you got to put him in at some point. So it's probably a planned change that was delayed because he did go in kind of late. And then McTominay's, they put him in an offensive capacity, and he does win games for us like last year, like last minute. So it's like we don't have to make the same type of changes they made that they won. So now everybody's like, hey, they made offensive changes, but the only thing I would say is you can't put Scott McTominay in and take Bruno out, because who's going to get the ball to McTominay and create the chances for McTominay to score? So I still don't know why they took Bruno out, but we did lose a lot of intensity when we took Mount out the game.
Also, I don't think I have ever seen such an unlucky offside goal ever. I think that's probably one of the most unlucky goals that I've seen.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So we'll see. This is still a work in progress, man. Like I'm not panicking. I mean, I'm not panicking. What does Southampton do, fam? How's it feel being back in the Premier League and you ain't got no wins?
I like it. We're straight back to disappointment. I mean, because I went to the game against Newcastle last weekend and we actually played really well there. We just couldn't score. Like, we were on top before the red card. The red card happened, then we were just, camped in their half, couldn't score. But then this weekend we played Forest and we were bad. Like, we had one shot on target at home, which is pretty poor. They had 8. They had 8 shots on target. So we're not creating enough. And defensively not too bad if we're only, we gave up 1 goal which came from a mistake. It was like a turnover after we defended a corner. It was on like the second phase. So that was a little bit disappointing, but it was sort of a scrappy goal. And we've done that twice now. Like, the first game, our keeper passed the ball straight to Isak, who then squared to Joelinton for a goal. So we've kind of given it away easy for two goals. We've lost them both 1-0. We've not been like absolutely smashed by anyone, but this one was more concerning than the Newcastle one, just because it was, first game at home. It's a chance to make a statement. Forest are a good team. There's no easy game in this Premier League. But it's a game where if we want to show everyone that, we're back and we want to stay back, we need to get something from this game at home. So, yeah, to lose 1-0 is a bit disappointing, but we've got a lot of turnover at the moment as well. We had 2 new signings on the bench for this one. Ukachukwu from Chelsea was on the bench, who I think he's going to be a fantastic player for us. He's going to add much needed power to our midfield. And Fernandez from Sporting Lisbon, who we signed. He came off the bench briefly. He'll give us a different dynamic. And one of our best players who came on, he was only on for a few minutes towards the end, was we got an 18-year-old from the academy, Tyler Dibbling, who looks really exciting. So he'll be getting more minutes, I think, in the next few weeks. So yeah, there's some bright things in there. We're about to sign, like I said earlier, Bilal from Feyenoord.
What position does he play?
The goalkeeper. He's the one we're getting instead of Ramsdale.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
So he's having a keeper that can play with their feet is going to make the build up better as well. So yeah, we're still figuring things out. I'm not like concerned yet. The big thing for me is that we're not creating like quality chances, but I'll be more concerned if we're still doing that in 3 or 4 weeks, because then it'll be a real issue if we're still not doing it then. So see how it goes. Just see how these new signings do. We still got time to do more before the transfer window closes. I'd like us to sign a striker that's going to give us something different, because I don't know why we signed Cameron Archer. He's a good player, but he's pretty much the same player as Adam Armstrong in terms of his profile. So we haven't really given ourselves a different dimension with that signing. So that is a bit of a strange one. Yeah, he's come off the bench in both games. Done okay. He's busy, but we're not, like I say, we're not creating enough good chances. So hopefully, if Fernandez starts getting in the team regularly, the Sporting Lisbon guy, he'll be able to do that for us. And yeah, we just got
you guys got a Fernandez from Sporting, just like United. Are they?
How much does Sporting rip you off for Fernandez?
Like 15 million. 15 to 20 million, I think it was. Yeah. We don't ever spend any more than that. That's like our ceiling. Because like Matt, he was the player we got instead of Matt O'Reilly, who's gone to Brighton now, because they wanted like 30 million for him. We weren't going to pay that, whereas Brighton can. So he's one to watch as well. He'll do really well at Brighton, O'Reilly. Really rate him. I'm really disappointed we didn't get him, but yeah, he'll be very good for them. But we got Okachukwu and Fernandez, so we've strengthened in that position where we needed to anyway. So we'll see what those guys do. But yeah, 1-0 to Forest, not the best. But we got Brentford away next, so we'll see how we get on there.
Right. The thing with Forest, right, is Forest is like, they've been in the league 2 seasons now, right?
3.
So they're not like the underdogs in every game now. There's teams like Southampton and teams that came up in the last few years that Forest is ahead of. Their players are getting more experience. They got Elanga, Callum Hudson-Odoi, they got Gibbs, and they got Wood from Burnley, and then the Niger, what's his name? Okan, I can't remember his name. He was on the bench. And they're trying to buy another offensive player. Yeah. They're going for it. They're here now. So
they got quite a dynamic team as well. They play with Hudson-Odoi and Elanga either side of Wood. Gibbs White, who scored the goal for them, he's busy in midfield as well. They got some really solid defenders as well, like Murillo is a really good player. So yeah, they got a nice team.
Yeah, they got a nice team, man. So every team that you play, unless they were from the championship, is definitely going to be better than you. And every team that they play, they're going to be better than some of those teams. So Forest is in like they could make a good long run in the Premier League right now. Before we get to Tottenham's game, I just want to talk about Bournemouth versus Newcastle. Was that goal by Bournemouth a handball? Anybody?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It's below the shoulder. It's on the top of the arm. So
what feed are y'all getting over there?
It's absolutely handball.
But I thought it was more a handball on the defender than on the Bournemouth player who they blamed the handball on.
No, it's below the shoulder. It's the bicep, so it's a handball. And also, I think Joelinton should have got a red for clotheslining the goalkeeper around the throat as well. So they got the handball right, in my opinion, and the yellow card for Joelinton was wrong. That should have been a red for going WWE on the goalkeeper.
Right, I agree with you too. And from what I saw that game, Joelinton had a rough game because
missing chances.
Missing chances. Well, the keeper saved one, but he gave up the ball to the player. Like he got his pocket picked, and the player who picked it, I forgot. What was it? What's his name?
Savinho.
I forgot. Yeah, Savinho got an assist off taking the ball off Joelinton. I think he didn't play the last few weeks. I think he's coming back from an injury, so he's like moving slow. But yeah, I expect more from him. But the changes that their coach made for Newcastle in the second half, like, got them that goal. But I do think you guys, again, you're watching this. What did you think? Watch that again and see if the British broadcast feed is something wrong with it, because that's two calls now I disagree with y'all on. Martin, the only reason why you jumped on today is because Spurs won. They not only won, they won big.
No, there were two reasons. Man U losing too.
Man U losing to, yeah. That figures. My bad. I didn't want. Sorry to leave that out. And so, tell us about your win versus a lowly Everton. Like, come brag about a win you should have won by at least 4, but you only won by 4.
Yeah, it's a great win, especially that we lost Solanke for a month, I think, with an injury. So that's a big blow. And not only Man U gets injuries, we also have injuries. I'll tell you, the fourth goal when Van den Ven took the ball on I think penalty box, right ahead of the penalty box, and pretty much ran with it for the entire pitch and gave like assist to Son, was pretty much a tap in for at that point. It's Van Ven's goal. That proved to me two things. First of all, I don't know why Dutch coach didn't play him in the starting lineup.
Me either.
Because he's such a special player, and he's a special player. He's a special player. Well, our season kind of last year was a little bit of, first of all, we overachieved overall in a big picture, but it was a little bit of a disappointment because we lost some key players in this Chelsea game and never recovered from that. And hopefully now those players will play the whole season. I think Maddison still didn't fully recover since that injury. He's still not exactly the same player he was, although he's getting there. He's slowly getting there. And I like the team. I think we'll listen. The bar is higher this year. There's the second season with NG. We finished 5th. Now we need to finish top 4. And I think we can. I think we can if we keep playing like this. We'll be challenging top 4 for sure.
Yeah, it was an impressive win. Not the most impressive win of the weekend too, but definitely impressive.
Yeah, one more thing, I liked the offensive lineup. They didn't play 2 defensive midfielders. Bissouma played like in the deeper role, and he also scored a goal. But we had Kulusevski on one side and Maddison on the other side, and 3 attackers. So we had like 5 offensive players in the lineup. And 2 very offensive wing defenders. So that was a very, very offensive lineup. I liked it. 7 offensive players, pretty much.
I like your whole defense. As much as I hate Romero, he works with Van der Ven. And Van der Ven, like, I agree with you. I have no idea, after seeing him in the Premier League, why in the Euros the coach, like, I understand you're starting Van Dijk, but I don't even remember the name of the guy that played with Van Dijk in a partnership.
Your guy, De Ligt.
That was De Ligt?
Yeah.
But no, I think De Ligt was injured or some shit. No?
Oh, but then later, yeah, that was what's his name? I'll check it out.
Yeah, but I don't think it was De Ligt in the Euros.
Yeah.
But I'm like, and then when they did play Van der Ven in the Euros, it was as a left back, which is like Van der Ven can give you so much. It
was De Vrij, the Inter centre back.
Yeah, De Vrij.
Yeah.
There's no way De Vrij is better than Van der Ven. No way. It's just so obvious. I agree with Martin. And like that dribble, that was a Yaya Toure run from a defender. You know what I mean? Like right up the field. And there was something funny. Son was being interviewed about that goal, and he's like, he better not pass the ball. He better take the shot. And then he did pass the ball. But after Son scored, he's like, I'm glad he passed the ball. But and that wasn't an easy finish either. It's like, high pressure pass. You only have one way you could score it, and you have to do it perfectly. And Son put it in. I continue to not believe in Pickford. Like, yeah, I just
the second goal, huh?
Yeah, it's like he's all antics. Everton leaks goals all season, and he's still England's number 1. Like, I just feel like we can do better. I feel like Ramsdale is better, and So I will continue to say that. And Everton are in trouble, but it ain't Sean Dyche's fault. And if I know this, why don't Everton fans know this? Why are they going in on Sean? What is he going to do? Yeah, like they don't have any money. They got to sell people, and that's been happening. And every time they sell people, every season, they end up closer to the bottom. And now they need new owners. The team, as it is, the Everton owes so much money to so many different companies and organizations. It's just, you're lucky. Sean Dyche only lost 4-0 to Spurs. Like, you don't want a team where off the field you got that many financial issues. It's just
There probably only two really decent players on this team. The Tarkovsky in defense, and he's not a spring chicken, and Doucouré. They are the only two players who probably could play in a decent Premier League team. The first guy off the bench was the guy who was not even starting for Southampton, right, last season. What's his name? The defender? Lee. You were complaining about him. He was like the first guy off the bench for Everton. Holgate?
Oh yeah, Mason Holgate. Yeah.
Holgate, yeah.
He was terrible for us. We sent him back, and then they sent him to Sheffield United, and he was terrible for them as well. So, I don't know why he's. I mean, I know why he's still part of their setup is because, because they can't get anyone else in. But he didn't come off in this. He didn't come on in this game. A lot of their signings are budget.
Do you see him as your competition? Mm-hmm. Like, do you see Southampton going head-to-head against Everton?
I think there's a number of teams. Like, it's weird. Like, we've lost both our games, but we're still like outside the relegation zone. Admittedly, only 2 games in, but yeah, it's. Let me just get the table up. Premier.
All right, fam. I'm gonna have to jump out soon, but I do want to wish everyone good luck next week. Martin, you guys are playing Newcastle. Mm-hmm. I think like that's the test right now, right? Like that's a good test to see what's happening. Yeah. Ian, man, I'll put I don't know. In Hispanics, we have like a candle that you light up before a good match. I'll put 4 for you or something because I'm actually gonna be supporting United next week. You know.
Why? Because it supports Man City's best interest. Because you're more worried about Liverpool.
I also care about my friends' happiness also. But yes, you're 100% right.
Hilarious.
And Lee, you guys, I was checking the calendar, and you guys have like a nice couple of. You guys looks like you guys have like a nice little run, right? You guys gotta.
No, they're all hard. Every game's a hard game for us. It doesn't matter who we're playing.
But it's more like the expectation, right? Like okay, we should be able to pick up some points against. I think like it was against you guys. You guys are playing Ipswich, right? Ipswich.
No, we got Brentford away. We got Brentford away this weekend. That's not easy.
Okay, Brentford, United, Ipswich, Bournemouth. Pretty doable.
I'm going to the United game on the 14th of September as well because I think it's this. There's games this weekend, then it's an international break.
Yeah. And you're talking about. We'll talk about Liverpool in a few. I just want to talk about the Chelsea versus Wolves match. But yeah, we don't want to lose to Liverpool and then be in some 2-week international break with that hanging over our heads. So yeah, all right, Alex is out. So anybody?
I was just saying quick as well. The Alex was asking about the teams we're competing against. So at the moment, us, Palace, Ipswich, Wolves, and Everton all on 0. Leicester only on 1 point as well. So that's probably some of the teams. But I mean, it's too early to truly tell.
Yeah, it's too early to panic. It's too early to panic.
Yeah, but I would be worried a little bit, if I was Lee, and I don't say it with with the bad intentions. I'm saying it with the good intentions. It kind of reminds me, the Southampton team, a little bit of the team that got relegated in terms of lack of goal scoring. Like you got to fix that problem because it almost looks like
100%. Yeah.
So Chelsea's had a messy week off the pitch, right? Had a messy week off the pitch. I think that their best moments for Chelsea, just period, since the season started were on the pitch. Because even though they lost to Man City last week, everybody said it was a decent performance. But the way they've been hoarding players and then throwing them in a storage unit and not letting them out, and then buying more players and throwing them in the same storage unit, and then it's kind of comical because you can't. Those players won't have any value because they're just going to be covered in cobwebs, and they get no playing time. But this game versus Wolves, first of all, I love Lavia, and I wanted United to get him, and he played great last week. But fortunately for Maresca, he was injured because last week against Man City, Maresca played Lavia, Enzo, and Caicedo. And then he played Cole Palmer out of position as a right winger, which is where Madueke, who scored 3 goals this weekend, should have played. And Madueke was on the bench. But because Lavia was injured, he went more back to the type of team that Chelsea ended the season with last year. And so my question is, when Lavia comes back, is he going to take Cole Palmer and put him back on the wing and take a 3-goal scorer and put him on the bench just to play Lavia? Because the issue is not Lavia. The issue is Lavia should be on the pitch and Enzo should be on the bench. But how do you bench the guy who you made your captain? Like, making Enzo your captain is almost saying like he's going to start every game. So then it's going to be Caicedo and Lavia, or Enzo, Lavia, and Caicedo, which means Cole Palmer plays out of position. But fortunately for Maresca, injuries like helped him pick the team. And this was a feisty game between, like, I was looking at the ages of these players on both teams. I was like, what's the difference? But then by the end of the game, I saw the difference. You know what I mean? And the money that Chelsea paid for these players like showed up. You know, it's like the value in the money that they spent on these players like showed up. And that's got to be, let's go to the assist from Cole Palmer first. That's got to be the 3 easiest assists that any player in the Premier League has ever had. Get the ball and just pass it to the right. And then the guy on the right, Madueke, just puts it in the back of the net. I just, maybe somebody can come up with 3 easy assists in one half, in one game, in the history of the Premier League, but I ain't seen that yet. It wasn't even like any genius type of through ball. It's just like, we'll just pass it to the player who's a little bit wide of me to the right, and then he does the job. The first one was a deflection, but he intended it to go in the back of the net, and the other 2 just clean through. So that was dope. Cole Palmer's goal was just like, you know, I was just talking about earlier about Haaland's finish, kind of in a similar position, but he had to do a little bit more. And the long ball from Sanchez to Nicholas Jackson, who just one-touched it over into the path of Palmer, and Palmer just like, oh, this is what you're supposed to do with it, and this is how you're supposed to do it when you do it, what you're supposed to do with it in the back of the net. That just, and I like Wolves' fight, but if, you know, ultimately they don't have the finishers and the quality that Chelsea had, so they got 2 back, and their team is pretty much newer than you know, some of the pieces of it considerably newer than Chelsea. So they're still a dangerous team, but they went mano a mano against a team that mostly played last season for Chelsea. Like, that's how you started. In the defense, you know, Colwell and what's the name of that? Fofana. I think that's going to be a great center back pairing. I hope that ages well. I do and I don't, because I'm not a Chelsea fan, but that was like one of the most exciting games. And then they brought in their subs, and their subs set up the next goal, and Neto, ex-Wolves player, I think that was his assist to João Felix, who shouldn't even be at Chelsea. Doesn't even make sense. It's just crazy that he's there. But he scores, and they make it 6-2. It was the ass whooping of the weekend, and it was exciting from the beginning to end. How do you guys feel about that game?
It's pretty crazy, because that first half I was like, oh, this is Chelsea being a bit all over the place again, because obviously, the Cole Palmer goal was great. Jackson was, he was in the right place at the right time, but then obviously Wolves hit back with the other goals. Cunha could have had another one as well, but the defender got a little deflection on it. And yeah, I was like, oh, this is an entertaining game, but it's also, all over the place. This is anyone's game. And then Chelsea just went into overdrive in that second half. Like you say, Wolves didn't try and just sit back and defend that lead. They were going for it, and they left holes. Like you say, Palmer just got the ball in positions where he could just look up and go, oh, you're free, so I'm gonna give it to you. And credit to Madueke as well. He took the finishes really well. Like, he was cold in front of goal. And he had to be, because I don't know if you saw his social media post before this game.
I heard about it, but tell me, what did he say?
It said something like, this place is a shithole, and like tagged the location as Wolves. He meant to put it on like a because he's got two accounts. He's got like a public account, and he's got like a private personal one that must be locked, I guess, just to friends and family. But yeah, he posted that, posted it on the wrong one. And yeah, so he was getting booed every touch. So it's kind of one of those games. He goes, he posted everything about this place is shit, and then tagged Wolverhampton. He must have arrived at the hotel that day. So yeah, and yeah, I mean, just when you do that, you've got to deliver, because if you get booed and you have a bad performance, it's like, oh, you've brought this upon yourself. But I kind of like that attitude. You make a little error like that, people, or maybe he needs booze to perform, and he did it on purpose. Maybe it was all maybe he's one of those guys who needs some hatred, because he's not the sort of player people are just going to hate for no reason. So maybe he wanted that. But it was a great way to forget about it by just going, demolishing them with the 3 goals.
I mean, I got a question. Like, the question is, whose hat trick was better, Madueke's or Haaland's? And also
Haaland's 100%.
Yeah, one of Haaland's goals, the quality of it, like the one when he had the goalkeeper. Yeah, so yeah, that's an easy question to answer. But I feel like this game changed the trajectory of the history of Wolves versus Chelsea. Like, it's the type of game that could launch these two teams if Wolves survives this Premier League season, because they've sold and not bought anything, like a type of non-derby rivalry, because there's 2 young teams and they were very emotional. So they got into each other's faces after those goals. And I want to give Jackson props for, he normally takes 5 misses to score a goal, and he scored like his first chance in a game forever, which I knew last year that give this guy a chance. Like, he's going to be, Chelsea don't need another 9. He's going to be fine. But like the beef that they got into early, and there's 2 young teams operating on just emotional energy. They're not exactly professional enough. They're going to make mistakes. And I feel like Chelsea got Wolves so emotionally up, like you were co-signing that I was saying, they made this a basketball game that only Chelsea could win, because their finishing is just better than Wolves. So, being young, or, really worked, and being like kind of unprofessional kind of worked in Chelsea's favor, because Wolves was like, we equalized by the end of the half, we're going to go back at them again. And it kind of like opened them up. And also, as far as Chelsea's concerned, like, you in the first half, you could walk in between Caicedo and Enzo, like, just walk through them, because that's what Aït-Nouri did. That's what a bunch of Wolves players did. But in the second half, they might have got yelled at, and they was like, "Hey man, I'm starting you two. You gotta lock this up better." So that their efforts of like winning duels and going for 50-50s and loose balls paid off, you know. So they had better second halves than they had first halves. Martin, did you see this game, or what you feel about it?
I watched the highlights. I watched the extended highlights of the game.
Mhm.
Just going back to what I said at the beginning, that I said that City makes all the right decisions. I think there's one decision they didn't get right, which is selling Cole Palmer to Chelsea, because he's a pretty special player. He's already one of the better players in the league, and always hits numbers. He's like and I don't have him on my fantasy team, but I might because he's expensive, but I might have to find a way to get it because he's producing a lot of numbers, and he's like the one. You know, it's almost like they played Lotto at Chelsea, you know, and sometimes when you play Lotto, you get lucky once in a while, and the Cole Palmer is the lucky draw for them, because they obviously buy and sell so much that it's almost impossible to keep track of their all transactions, and some players are frozen that are pretty good players, and they'll probably never play for them again. Like it makes no sense whatsoever, because you can't keep the team young forever. You have to have a balance on the team. You have to have some experience. Otherwise, you're never going to win anything. And I still think that Boli completely disorganized this football club, and I don't see them achieving anything this year. I don't think they're going to finish top 4. I don't think they have a real legitimate shot to be ahead of the top 2 teams, and then Liverpool, and then us, and maybe Man U. You know, I don't think they can finish above those teams. However, they're gonna have individual games where they're gonna score a lot of goals and be exciting and be fun to watch, and that was one of those games. But I think it's unsustainable. I don't see there is a method to this madness. I think there will be just occasional outbursts, and they're gonna also have games where they're gonna be terrible.
Hilarious, occasional outbursts. I mean, I hope you're right.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how they try and shift all these players that they've frozen out now, though. Because there's a whole bunch of them, like Chilwell, Sterling, Chalobah. There's a bunch of them. They're all on big wages as well, with time left on the contracts. So, yeah, it's and even like all the players they've just signed this season, like they're not all gonna do well. I think there's some others as well, like who they signed only recently, like Badiashile and Disasi. I think one of them or both of them are up for sale as well. Like
Shield should be off. Like it's not been good.
Yeah, but it's crazy. Like they're just getting these players in, long contracts, high wages, and then it makes it extremely difficult to sell them. So it's kind of like, you know, hoping obviously some work out and some will work out, but I don't know. Like time will tell if that model works. But it's extremely high risk, because if you're going to take a hit on these players if no one wants to match their wages or the money you paid for them, kind of thing. Like you said earlier, they're going to lose value if they're training away from the first team, if they're not playing games. Those assets are just going to be depreciating, and that's not a sustainable model. So yeah, it's kind of almost like they're banking on success right now if they can get the signings to all work at once. But if they don't work at once, then there could be some big problems.
But they keep buying. I just want to say that, you know, they apparently are very close to sign Sancho from Man U, and they want to throw a lot of money to buy him. But I don't see where he.
They want to trade. They want to trade for Raheem Sterling.
Yeah,
the only thing that could save Chelsea, Martin, is when the transfer window closes. That's the only that Chelsea likes to buy so much. The transfer window will close, and you'll hear that Chelsea still bought some players from the Saudi league.
Of course, and yeah, that's a funny way to say that. But I think they're gonna actually buy Sancho. I just don't know where they're gonna play him. They don't care.
They don't care.
But I think they're gonna buy him. I actually do think they're gonna buy him. They're not gonna trade him. They're gonna actually buy him, I think.
I hope so. I hope so. We need to. His heart is not into United. He needs to go somewhere where his heart can get into. But if he wasn't starting at United, good luck finding a place to start. The only player on Mudryk, he's in trouble.
So
he
wasteful.
had some great dribbles, but he didn't do anything with them. And Neto is just waiting right there. But then Neto is definitely going to get injured, so then Mudryk could just be right back in there. So it's like he can worry, but
or Sancho,
or Sancho, yeah, hopefully. You want to do the fantasy league, and then I'll just give some stats and facts.
Ahead of
ahead of the match of the week that's coming up this weekend,
cool.
Liverpool versus United.
So yeah, Martin had a good week.
Shit! This is another reason why he came on the podcast.
Yeah, he jumped up. Me and Martin both did the same thing though. We both captained Haaland this week, so we both got that decision right. Unfortunately for me, I didn't really have anyone else that did anything apart from Porro. Porro got me a clean sheet, but everyone else in my team were just like 2 points. Whereas Martin had like Vicario, Robinson, Van der Ven, Jota, Saka. These guys got him a few more points, but it's early days still. Right now, I'm level on points with last year's champion. So me and Joachim Henriksen are both on 127. But yeah, Martin's on 142. Top of the table right now, though, is Brian Avina.
Brian Avina. All right,
so
Brian.
Arteta Tet is his team. He triple captained Haaland, so that's why he got the points this weekend. He smashed it.
Can you do that all the time, or that's like a special?
Twice. Once per season. Yeah, yeah.
And he did it at the right time.
Twice.
Damn, he did
that. I was thinking about it. I had the finger hovering over the button, and I was like, "Nah, I'll save it." Because but he also had Salah, who scored. He had Smith Rowe, who scored. He had Gordon, who scored.
Damn.
He had White, Alexander-Arnold, and Saliba, who all got clean sheets. He had Areola, who got a clean sheet as well. So, Brian smashed it this week.
Does he have a time machine or something? How the fuck does he know to do this shit?
Yeah, he got 110 points. So yeah, he did. He had a big week, and second place at the moment is Thomas Herrera. With another, both the top two teams have Mikel Arteta themed names. His one is Mikel Arteta's Thomas Herrera, but he triple captained Haaland as well. So he also had that crystal ball in there as well. So yeah, they both. Omar Zekri, who he did pretty well last season, he's in third.
He's in third.
Yeah, he didn't triple captain Haaland though.
How far are you two behind these? Like, what places are you guys in?
Martin's in 11th and I'm in 24th, but there's not that many points.
You're in 24th?
Yeah, I was 39.
Oh, well, that's pretty good. So a lot more people joined the league this year than last year. That's dope.
A few more. I think we had low 30s last year.
Right.
But it's early days still. I still got my triple captain in the bank as well. But captain in Haaland meant I didn't lose too much ground. But I need my other players to do something. But I might have pulled off a little something for the next game week. I might have used the wild card already. I might have gone early with the first one. So yeah, we'll see.
And what does the wild card do again?
It means you can make unlimited transfers.
And you can just do that how many times a season?
Twice. You get one before the new year, one after.
So does it matter price-wise? Because
not really.
No.
The prices fluctuate a little bit, but like Haaland's gone up in price obviously because he's scoring crazy amount of goals. But I already had Haaland in there, so I didn't lose anything there.
I'll give you a little tip for free that I've been doing for many, many years in Fantasy League. There's a little loophole that you can do. When you make your transfer, you can make a transfer when the game are happening for the next week. So you buy someone who got a lot of points, he's gonna automatically be expensive than when you buy him at the moment when you buy him.
Oh yeah, I've always been doing that before the update, and yeah, you get it before the price rise.
So you earn money that way.
But again, you need to hope that they're going to do well next week, not just this week. It depends what sort of player it is. Some players will only be good for 1 week.
The wild card, or like when you do about to do the wild card, it's a good way to earn some extra money.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, get it in before the rises.
All right, I still didn't understand nothing you two just said about
that. Okay, so when a guy gets a hat trick, right, and he's worth 4.5, you don't have him on the team, so you buy him the moment he scores the hat trick because they will raise his price on Monday
after the game. On Monday.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you buy him on a discount and you earn 0.1 or 0.2 or 0.3 in the meantime on the transaction, which you can utilize later to buy the different player.
That's why I didn't join. I'm terrible at math, and this sounds like all the math that I refused to learn in school. It's like I need to be a mathematician. I just want to enjoy soccer. You know. All right. So next week, the big match is Liverpool versus Manchester United, and they're set to face off next weekend in one of the most anticipated matches of the early Premier League season. Historically, these two teams share one of England football's fiercest rivalries, and Liverpool and United being the two most successful clubs in the country's history. In their most recent encounters, Man United and Liverpool have had mixed results. Last season, United won their home fixture 2-1, but Liverpool delivered a shocking, I don't know if this was last season, was the 7-0 thrashing at Anfield?
That was season before.
Yeah, that's what I felt. Yeah. Overall, United had had the edge in their Premier League meetings, winning 29 times compared to Liverpool's 19. Both teams come into this match with solid form. Not so true because we just lost this weekend. This is misinformation. Liverpool remains undefeated in the league so far this season, showing a strong defensive performance, while United has had a mixed start but remains dangerous, especially with players like Marcus Rashford. This is not accurate. And Bruno Fernandes. Bruno, yes. Mo Salah remains a key player for Liverpool and holds a record for the most Premier League goals against Man United among Liverpool players. That is so disrespectful. This match will be crucial to both teams as they seek to assert themselves early in the season. All right, so that's the matchup of the week. What's another big game this weekend coming up?
Southampton, Brentford.
Spurs, Newcastle.
That's big.
Spurs, Newcastle, and I would say Arsenal, Brighton, just because Brighton have started with 2 wins. Arsenal versus Brighton should be
Arsenal's
a big game.
Pump them. Arsenal's going to pump them.
He's calling it now.
Yeah, I'm calling that now. Yeah, I'll triple captain that.
But yeah, Newcastle, Tottenham for sure will be the next biggest.
And where's that game at?
Newcastle.
Martin, what do you think about your chances?
A draw.
You don't think you can beat Newcastle?
I think we can, but I think draw will be probably the most realistic result. I think Arsenal-Brighton will be an interesting game.
I just want to say I've transferred Isak out of my fantasy team, so he will score a hat-trick against Tottenham this weekend.
Hilarious.
Guaranteed.
Why did you transfer him out?
Not happy with him not scoring so far, and also to free up funds in other positions. And I don't like their fixtures coming up either.
All right. How do you think Ange is going to play this? I don't know if it was a second match up between you guys last season or the first one, but Newcastle did this thing where they would, when they lost possession of the ball, they would drop their 2 midfielders into the back line, and it shut down Spurs completely. And Newcastle beat you guys and kind of like put Ange in his place. So do you remember that game? And is that why you said it's a draw now?
I more remember the game we lost when we finished third instead of second in 2015, I believe, when we lost 5-1 the last game of the season against Newcastle. It's not an easy place to play for us, but I think I'll take the draw. I think we have enough offensive weapons to score against them. So if we can keep a clean sheet, we can win potentially, because I think we can score. But the key will be not to let them score, and we have our technically strongest defense. So I'm a little bit more, because when we played them last year, we didn't have our best defenders.
All right.
Or they were not fully healed. So that changes, things a little bit. We only have Solanke injured from like our core group. We should be fine. I don't think we'll lose. I think we'll get something out of this game.
All right, we'll see. We'll watch.
But I would say let's attack them. They're not great defending team.
Yeah, I feel like they really, if there's any weakness for Newcastle, it's definitely in their defense. But that's why their coach set that trap last year when I lose the ball, two midfielders drop into defense. And that's why I feel like they need to buy Gueye and pay whatever it costs, because it's definitely an upgrade to what they got now. I think Newcastle's glaring weakness is in their defense. And is Trippier going to be out? He's trying to leave. I don't know where the conversation is at now. He's been told that he ain't going to get as much playing time as he would like, and he's trying to be out. So
yeah, Livramento's the first choice there, so he might go. I think at the back as well, they've just been hampered because Sven Botman, who's one of their better centre backs, he's injured, and Shah got suspended for his vicious headbutt last weekend against us.
I wanted to say something about that headbutt. It's like, how do you headbutt a guy that has the forehead of a caveman? And how is like if you were gonna like look at the evolutionary chart, he has like an evolutionary chart man's facial structure, and then he crumples to the floor. Like Shah should have went down. Was it Shah? After he headbutted him, because that guy, there's no way he felt that. He was born with a helmet.
No, he was, and also it was soft. It was soft as hell, that one. And they both put their heads in, but our guy was, Brereton Diaz was smart enough to make a meal out of it and con the ref into a red card, because it definitely wasn't. But hey, there we go. We've been too much of a nice team in the past, so I'm glad we got some players that are gonna get on some some dark arts. So I need that in our team. It was quite funny being at the ground though, because they were booing him so loud every time he got the ball. And then in the second half, a player came on who went into the position that Brereton Diaz was on, and they didn't realize, and they just booed him, and it was completely different player.
Hilarious.
It was Samadozi, who actually doesn't look anything like Brereton Diaz. Doesn't have a beard, not white either. Like they booed him, and then they realized, they're like, oh no, we booed someone who's not him.
I was like, hold on, guys, wait a minute, it's not him.
It was ridiculous. But no, hopefully, we can start picking up some stuff soon. But that was Newcastle have been, I think they definitely need that signing at the back.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not sure if Gueye's worth 70 million though. He's good, but if they got 70 to spend, then spend it. But
I think
where they're at PSR wise.
I think he's worth it. I feel like it's, he's the Van Dijk signing for Newcastle if they want to get to the next level. You gotta, when your team is kind of close, or you gotta like do that thing. Like, I don't think Pope is good enough. I like him as a goalkeeper, but I don't think he's good enough to take Newcastle consistently into the top four. So they might jump on this. Should be able to jump on this Ramsdale thing.
Maybe.
Gueye,
I mean, Gueye he would be a good investment though, because he's at a good age as well. He's 24, so you're buying him for the next 6-7 years at least.
So that's
a steep price.
I mean, they got it. Martin's back. That's hilarious. I don't know who's back. Is it Martin or is it Alex? Because I saw both of y'all.
It's me. My battery died because I had disconnected cord, and now I can.
Well, we're about to bounce anyway. Like, you got any last words or things you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to say, that I watched the Barcelona highlights because Lewandowski scored 3 goals in 2 games. It feels like when they brought his German coach, he's finally, showing what he can do. I mean, he's still a pretty good player, and I'm happy to see that, because he's 36, he'll be 37. Damn. People are saying that he's done, that he's finished, and he started the season well. So I'm happy to see that. Where Mbappe didn't score so far for Real Madrid. So
it's a long season.
Yeah,
I would count on Mbappe having a better season than Lewandowski in La Liga. But it's, at least Lewandowski has his position. Mbappe has to switch constantly with Vinny Jr. This is an experiment. We don't know if it's going to work. And sometimes Mbappe should be where he needs to be to score the goals that he should. But, some players got to grow up because they're overloaded with talent in one position or two positions at Real Madrid. So we'll see what's up.
And with Vidi, it is interesting because there were all those reports that he rejected this gigantic offer from Saudi Arabia, and apparently he didn't reject it. He just postponed it because he wants to win the golden ball, and he might leave next year and sign this biggest contract in history of sports.
Yeah.
Making like $1 billion.
I guess he wants to save everybody he knows in Brazil.
Yeah.
With that money. Like football players is Brazil's oil, apparently. So, yeah. I mean, I hope he doesn't do that. I hope he stays, but we'll see. You got any last words, Lee?
No, just hopefully my gambles in fantasy Premier League pay off. We'll see. And just I hope we can get at least 1 point on the board before the international break. So yeah, Brentford away. Hopefully at least a draw, but I'm not confident.
I'll DM Alex and ask him to light one of those candles for you on that.
More than one.
Yeah, more than one. Yeah, we need a whole cathedral full. Yeah, we're going to be playing Liverpool. I don't not have confidence. We played Liverpool in the preseason and they beat us 3-0, but our XG was higher than theirs. We created more opportunities. Our setup definitely affected them. So let's see how this one goes. I do believe we have a chance. We're at home. And I think we can get at least a draw, if not a win. So terrifying. Go ahead.
Oh, no. Oh, no. I didn't want you have more.
Oh, I'm terrifyingly excited about this game, and we'll see what's up. But yeah, man, follow me on Instagram at Ian Edwards Comic, and I'll keep giving you guys information on when the special that I shot 2 weeks ago is going to be edited and when it's going to come out. But if I haven't looked at it yet, and the director hit me up during this podcast, so hopefully it looks as good as it felt. Yeah.
Nice. Also wanted as well to say shout out to the guy who stopped me in the street in Edinburgh when I was flyering for my shows to tell me that he was a fan of the pod. So if you listen to this, thank you. It's nice to know. It's nice to know some people on this side of the pond are listening as well.
That's dope. And I did this weekend in Dallas. Some guys that listened to the pod came to one of the shows that I did at the Hyenas in Dallas, and I'm in San Francisco this weekend coming up. So you listen to the pod, pull up, let me know. Let's have some fun.
You got the Punchline, aren't you?
I'm at the Punchline in San Francisco. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, this weekend, Thursday through Saturday. All right. So thank you all for listening. One love. Be good to each other. Have a great week. And I hope your team wins unless it's playing mine. 1.